One of the greatest barriers to cooking is time. You need to get dinner on the table, but you only have 15 minutes. You want your food to taste great, but you just don't have the time to give it the love that it needs. But you can overcome these barriers with a strategy that I call flavor prep. You see, when you prepare ahead of time your flavor, you can then add it to your meals throughout the week and make them delicious without having to spend an hour in the kitchen. Now, I have 12 different ideas that I want to share with you for flavor prep. Obviously, that would take too long, so we're going to break it down to a couple different videos. We're going to share with you 4 today. We're going to start off with our lemongrass, which I talked about in our previous video. And then we're going to make a roasted poblano salsa and our homemade granola, and lastly, some pickled eggs. And then we're going to show you some things that I use these foods to add to our meals that make them delicious. All right, let's make this happen. All right, we're going to start off with some fresh lemongrass here, and then we are going to chop it up, puree it, and freeze it to look like this, which is individual convenient serving sizes. Grab your fresh lemongrass and chop off the ends, and then just give it a rough chop and place it into either a high-speed blender or a food processor. Next, we're going to add some olive oil and some water, and then just blend that up. Scrape down the sides with a little spatula as needed. Add a little more olive oil and a splash of water. And repeat that process until you have this consistency right here. Then grab yourself an ice cube tray and fill it up with that pureed lemongrass. Cover it with some saran wrap and place it in the freezer until frozen. And now you've got lemongrass that you can easily add to bolster the flavor of your soups, sauces, or add to a chicken and rice bowl like we did in our last video. Next up is our roasted poblano salsa. I'm using poblano peppers, red onion, tomatoes, an ear of corn, some garlic, lime juice, cilantro, and salt. To roast these, I'm just going to put them on the grill. I'm going to splash them with some olive oil, give them a little toss, and then stick them on there. You could also roast your vegetables in the oven if you'd like, probably somewhere around 425, 450 for about 20 minutes or so. Now what you're looking for is to get some of that char. We want some good color on all these vegetables. Move them around as needed. That's what you're looking for right there. Next, place your poblano peppers inside of a plastic bag just so that they can steam for a little bit, which makes their skin easier to pull off. Grab a blender or a food processor and start by putting in a nice handful of cilantro, 2 cloves of garlic, and the juice of a whole lime. Get your tomatoes in there. Then cut your corn off of the cob and stick that in there. And then add your red onion. And finally, grab those poblano peppers. Cut off the stem and slice them in half so you can easily de-seed them. Then gently peel off the skin using your knife or your hand if the peppers are cool enough. Stick those in the blender, add a couple pinches of salt, a little black pepper, And it's time to blend it up. That is a good looking salsa there. Poblano and corn salsa. The uses for this are many. I mean, you can put it on tacos, enchiladas, burritos, slap it on some eggs or some chicken, or put it in a tuna salad. You really can use this on whatever. It just bolsters the flavor of everything. I usually keep a jar of this in my fridge. All right, it's time to make our homemade granola now. Preheat your oven to 270 degrees Fahrenheit. Here are the ingredients that we'll be using. I'll go over them as we pour them into the bowl here. First, we're going to start off with some oats. Then we're going to add some shredded coconut. And then some sliced almonds. And then my favorite, which is the walnut. And they're whole right now, so we're just going to chop those up a little bit. And you can use whatever ingredients you have in your pantry to make this granola, whatever you got on hand. And finally, we're going to add some chia seeds. Mix that up a bit. Now, the only ingredients that you want to measure is you want to have equal parts of fat and sweetener. My fat is half butter, half coconut oil, but you could use whatever oil or fat that you like. And I'm also using maple syrup for my sweetener. You could also use honey, molasses, or whatever you want. Now you want to mix all this up. You don't want any liquid at the bottom, but you want everything to be coated. Then add a pinch of salt and some cinnamon. Grab a baking sheet and dump that granola on there and spread it out evenly. Then you're just going to pop that into the oven at that low 270 degrees to let it roast slowly. Checking it every 20 minutes or so to see, just to make sure nothing's burning and everything's evenly toasting. And overall, it'll cook for about 45 minutes to an hour. After about an hour, your kitchen should be smelling amazing. Everything should be dry and well toasted. We're going to add some golden raisins for our final ingredient and give that a mix. We don't add these until the end because they're already dry, so they don't need to be in the oven. Nothing beats a fresh granola. This is so good for morning breakfasts or to toss on a salad to add texture and flavor. Or like this. Grabbing some yogurt. We're going to throw some blueberries in there. Some peaches. And then, of course, we're going to sprinkle on that homemade granola. All right. Enjoy, kids.
And the true thing is the kids are going to try it.
And finally, let's make our pickled eggs. I place my eggs into a steamer basket and steam them for exactly 8 minutes. Then drain them and pour them immediately into an ice bath. Peel your eggs and then place them into a large mason jar. Next, we're going to add some fennel seed, mustard seed, and black peppercorns. Then you're going to pour in your vinegar. I'm using apple cider vinegar. And you're going to fill your jar up about halfway. Then add 3 pinches of sea salt. And optional here, but you can add a teaspoon of sugar. Then fill the rest of the jar up with water. Now, we're not preserving these pickled eggs, so we're just going to keep this in the fridge. It'll be good for about 2 to 3 weeks. And you can eat them as is, or you can put them in a salad or eat them in a rice bowl, and they add so much flavor. Or my favorite 2 ways of using them: on an avocado toast, just sliced and placed on top, like we had for breakfast here, or potato salad, which I'll show you how to make right here. We'll whip it up real quick, get some boiled potatoes into a bowl, generously salt them, crack some fresh black pepper on there. Now I like to make mayo from scratch because I don't care for store-bought mayonnaise. So here's a quick way to do it. Throw an egg into a mason jar, squeeze of a lemon, a touch of mustard, one pinch of salt. Now you're going to continuously blend that while slowly drizzling in your oil. I'm using olive oil here, but you can use a different oil of your choice. And you want to keep blending that until the emulsion occurs and you have a consistency that looks like this. Spoon in your mayo, give it a little stir, and then we'll add the rest of our ingredients, which is diced red onion, some chopped parsley, about 2 teaspoons of paprika, and of course our pickled eggs, which really give a nice acidic pop to that salad. Blends really well with the rest of the ingredients. Give it a little bit more cracked black pepper, and then add some chives. And there's your potato salad, souped up with that extra flavor from the pickled eggs. So again, a little bit of prep ahead of time, and these foods will help bolster the flavor of your meals throughout the week. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you for part 2 of Flavor Prep.